Where's the sound trip ever taken?
Hey, Jokey Pants here, just to let you guys know, hey, we're still sponsored by Dubby! Yeah, Dubby, that energy drink that gives you everything that you want, everything you need, all with the natural flavors, and none of the artificial added sugars or bad stuff for you. So go check out Dubby. Use code Oddcast and save yourself money. And they're always running deals. So many deals. So you can save extra money with using the code. Just don't overdo it.
Are you ready to test your might against me? How about rip my arm off fatality style?
I would apologize for that, but that's how I'm opening this one, because fuck you, that's why. I don't know, just deal with it. So yeah, we're not doing Crocodile 2 Death Swamp. That's right, it's called Death Swamp and not Death Roll. Bit of a missed opportunity in the naming there, but we'll get to that next week. This week, I'm going to talk about something that I've been meaning to talk about, because I've been seeing way too many nostalgia-baiting posts about this game specifically and why it's peak Mortal Kombat and blah, 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 and it's not.
They will be drawn to battle.
There are things in this that I will say I like. I'll talk about the positives, the negatives, but overall explain why this was not peak Mortal Kombat and why this one kind of led to the death of Mortal Kombat for a while. Like, yeah, technically the story was an ending story, and then, you know, things we got after that were more of like a reboot to things, but my God, folks. So first off, let me start by saying, I've seen way too many of these fucking nostalgia-baiting posts that constantly talk about movies that are fucking terrible, and then talk about, like, they're actually really good. They're not. People don't like them for a reason. So shut the fuck up with this fucking trying to bring dumb shit back is good. Now, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I owned this back in the day when it came out, and I recently had gotten it again with the PS2 that I acquired, because I was like, it was in my wheelhouse as a kid. I played it a lot. But going back and playing it now, and like really experiencing it again, like it was not great. So first of all, to say this was peak Mortal Kombat, you're so very wrong for so many reasons. This game came out in 2006. The only other Mortal Kombat game that came out in between this and MK 8 or 9, whatever the fuck, the rebooted stuff that came out in 2011. That's right, it was almost 6 years before there was another one. The only other thing that came out between then was Mortal Kombat vs. DC, which people also had a problem with because they toned it down. It wasn't an M for mature and it did whatnot. I kind of get it, but hey, you know what that game had despite being watered down? That this game just refused to fucking do? Fatalities! Any kind of fatality, brutality, any of that. That didn't exist in Armageddon. You know what you had? You had kreate-a-fighter. You know what you do for kreate-a-fighter? You just push some buttons, and your character rips off the other person's arms, or maybe their legs, or maybe their head. And that's fucking it. Nobody had fatalities. There were no animalities, no brutality. None of the shit that everyone was used to with Mortal Kombat existed in this game. So that's something right off the bat where you're like, what the fuck? Story-wise, with Mortal Kombat, the reason Armageddon came to be story-wise, basically, I feel like they just kind of had done what they wanted to with Mortal Kombat, and this was meant to be the end cap to the trilogy, saga, whatever the fuck. Because that's what it was. You had Deadly Alliance, the Shaolin Monks, Deception, all these things that came before this, and like they killed Liu Kang, and you had like bad guys starting to become out on top over the good guys. And Armageddon was, they literally pulled every fucking character they'd ever made and just threw them into a game. But unfortunately, the game that they threw them all into, just again, as we talked about, like it had its issues. Like it had things that made it not so great, but it also had things that made it more unique and things that they never fucking did again. And I feel like they never did any of this kind of stuff again because this game didn't pan over well for them with the community, and it just didn't do as well as what they would have wanted it to. And I feel like the only reason anyone says this is the best Mortal Kombat is because of the roster. Can you guess how many characters are in this game without looking it up? If you said 62 fucking playable characters, boy, you're correct. That's right, you heard it right. 62 goddamn characters. Like, they had characters that, like, I didn't even fucking remember being characters because they were just, like, in side projects or showed up maybe once or fucking twice ever. Like, they pulled every fucking thing you can think of. Even characters that were, like, secret unlocks were just main character playables. There's no one who you have to unlock. The only one, technically, that you do is Meat. But Meat, they give you when you start Conquest the story mode. I got him in, like, 2 seconds. He was in, like, the first or second chest you open. And it was like, Meat unlocked. And I'm like, I don't have to fucking do anything. It just gave that to me. And then I looked at the roster and I'm like, oh, I have every character now. There was only him who wasn't, like, what the fuck? I guess technically I think maybe Blaze isn't, and you have to beat the actual story mode to get him. But like, Blaze, I feel Blaze isn't even fucking worth it. So let's get into Mortal Kombat Armageddon, shall we? So first off, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, you didn't have fatalities. There was just create a one, which it was kind of dumb. Like, you get so used to having brutalities or animalities, all these different things. And then this game did create a fatality where you just, like, rip off arms, legs, head. And that was, like, there wasn't any, like, actual specialty finish him stuff, which kind of a letdown, and part of the reason why this game didn't do well for people in general when it came out, because it didn't have something that was like such a core feature of Mortal Kombat, and they tried doing something different, and I give them credit. They did a lot of things different in this one that I wish they'd kept doing, and they just never fucking touch again. One of those being, I'll start right off the bat with a positive that I do very much enjoy with this one, because it never fucking appears in a game after this. The newer games, it did try to do something kind of like that, where they let you customize characters in the game, and you can make your own specific, like, layouts for them, and, like, customize their outfits and things. That was neat, but this game specifically had Kreate-a-Fighter, which has never been done since. This was the only one that they were like, let them create their own fighter. Fuck it, let people have fun with it. And let me tell you, I had fun with this growing up. I had, like, a Saiyaman, because there's, like, an alien helmet. I had, like, an Incredible Hulk. I had a Ghost Rider. Like, there was a ton of shit that I had growing up, like, just making creative characters at random. And replaying it now, like, checking that back out again after all these years, that's still a really fun feature to, like, just make your own character, pick out their fighting styles and shit. So that's neat. And I'll try to have some things on screen. I went through and tried to get some game footage of everything. So that's still really neat. That's a really cool feature that they just never fucking touched again after this game. And I kinda don't fully understand why that feature has just stopped being a thing with a lot of games. But, like, Mortal Kombat, hear me out. Bring that back. Bring back Kreate-a-Fighter, and with, like, extra customization, because, like, it was neat. I think for the video here, I just kind of tried making a Hulk Ghost Rider thing, but I don't have as much stuff unlocked. Because I've been so busy, I haven't had time to really put time into it. But it gives you the basic idea. It was a lot of fun, and there's so much shit you could unlock for creating a person. Like, I don't have everything unlocked, and there's still shit I'd have to find, unlock, whatnot. But it was really fun, and I don't understand why that's a feature that never came back. I really don't. Another thing that I will say, we'll start with the positives right off the bat. Another positive I have, which was an interesting little side feature that they included with this one. And again, never again touched interesting little side features ever fucking again. Like, the only interesting side features that the newer games have done is, like, they brought back Test Your Might or things like that. Which is like, okay, cool, that's like throwback to the older games, but what about the extra side things that you were doing? Because, like, I think it's Deception had, like, Mortal Kombat chess, which is hit or miss, like, here or there. I've remember playing it and it kind of being meh, and I remember people talking about it, but that's still, like, that's just an interesting little side thing. This game not only had Kreate-a-Fighter, but they also had Motor Combat, which I know I recorded some of that, just I wish they had more people to play as, but it was basically just Mortal Kombat Mario Kart, which is so stupid, but it's also kind of fun because it's just so dumb where you're like, they actually did this? And it was its own little side game. Like, it had its own little maps, had characters. I wish it had more. Again, I wish it had more characters you could pick from to play as. I just fucked around as Scorpion, because I was just like, fuck it, we'll just go as Scorpion. But, like, there's, like, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Baraka, Katana, I think Jax, Johnny Cage. I think that's all the people they have. That might be missing one or two. But it didn't have a ton of the roster in there, which is the only sad part. But again, stupid fun little side feature that they just never did this again. They focus all on the online fighting now, which I don't get into fighter games to that degree. Like, I grew up with Mortal Kombat where it's like, you know, on the Sega Genesis and shit, where like, you just had your friends come over and you fight each other playing co-op. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I grew up with. And like, even when I played Mortal Kombat Armageddon and Deadly Alliance and those, like, I genuinely liked the story for Mortal Kombat, so I would play the story modes. And then when I got done with that, I would just play the tower because, like, fun beat 'em up. I never got into online competitive stuff, and even the newer ones, I don't give a shit. Okay? Like, I'm not the guy. If you enjoy doing online fights with people, then good for you. Enjoy what it is you want to enjoy. I just don't. And that's because I tried it once and then ran into like the sweatiest try-hard fucking person I'd ever met in a game. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not into that. I'm not into playing this online. Like, what the fuck you, dude? Like, this isn't fun. So it's just not for me. And again, if you do enjoy it, then good for you. Like seriously, enjoy what it is you're going to enjoy. Stay odd. That's what we say with Oddcast, because it's literally just be yourself. Enjoy what you're going to enjoy. Those are the positives. Let me talk about the things. I already mentioned the kreate-a-fatality, which was, to me, like one of the dumbest things that they could have done. Like taking away actual fatalities. Like, what the hell were you guys thinking on that? So let's talk about the story mode. Because boy, oh boy, there is so much conquest. The story in this game. And it also, I don't understand what the fuck they were thinking. So the story mode, Conquest, is about the two brothers who are the princes of Edenia. And I think my issue with that is like Tevin and Jared or whatever, like we've never fucking heard of these people, and then suddenly it's like they're the secret fucking heirs to the throne and blah blah blah. It's like, what? Since fucking when? Like, you fight Rain in the second level, and even Rain's like, I'm the Prince of Edenia. You're a fucking wannabe. I'm gonna kill you and take and I'm like, yeah, we know about Rain. We know about Sindel, Katana, Melina, and like Shao Kahn. Who the fuck are these guys? Like, what the fuck do you mean that they've just been here in like some kind of dormant slumber until the Armageddon came? Like, no! Rain is the Edenia fucking person, and like Katana and Melina and Sindel, like, who the fuck are these two people? And it's like they were created for this game. But here's, in a positive on Conquest, they don't do shit like this anymore either. It was very like Crash Bandicoot style or something along those. Not exactly. But it's the best thing I can think of to explain, where you start at point A and you go to point B. And they did it like a typical like beat 'em up arcade game where like you're just fighting everybody as you go. But they had like secret areas so you can get extra things and unlocks and whatever. And yeah, you know, and that was neat. That was a neat little story mode because that was something that they were doing at this time. And again, they haven't done that since. Like, go play any of the story modes in the newer games, and it's just cutscene into next fight, cutscene and then next fight. Whereas this one had like an actual level that you were running around and doing things, which was cool. It was an interesting idea, and I wish that they had kept more in line with that. And I mean, that's just me. You know, this is just personal preference for me. I just find that more interesting than, you know, we're just cutscenes and cutscenes and cutscenes and cutscenes, and a lot of the time you just want to skip them because you're just getting into a fight anyway. But this added a little bit of a more. It added a little bit more of a unique flavor to it, if you will. You know, it was something a little different. As much as the characters they made for it again, don't make any fucking sense to be characters, but hey, do whatever you're gonna do. It was interesting. Also, it doesn't really tie in a whole lot to what the fuck was actually going on. Because, like, I'm gonna have, like, the opening thing be probably in the beginning of this, but, like, that's the opening to this, is to all the fighters are fighting over this temple. But then when you do the conquest mode, like, that doesn't get acknowledged at all. Like, nobody has any idea what the fuck is going on. You just keep running into characters doing things, and only the bad guys apparently have any idea about the temple and Blaze and all other, or at least, not necessarily Blaze, but that there's, like, some kind of power to control all realms and whatever. You're like, okay. Also, speaking of which, I have to mention this now. The opening cinematic shows Shao Kahn get taken by Onaga, the fucking Dragon King, and apparently dies that way, but when they make Mortal Kombat in 2011 and they do the reboot, they say that Raiden and Shao Kahn were the only two left on top of the Temple of Power. And it's like, but did you guys not go back and look at Armageddon? You fucking killed Shao Kahn. You had him eaten by the dragon, dude. Like, what? That's not how that ended, guys. I get you're rebooting everything anyway, but like, what the fuck? Where's the consistency on your fucking part? What the fuck? I had to mention it because that's something that bothered me back then, and the replaying it now and like thinking, and I'm like, yeah, no, that really doesn't, that's not how that was, but okay, guys. But also with playing the story mode, it has traps and levels that I feel like, personally, are about on par with the kind of things that you see with, like, the spin-off, what is it, Mortal Kombat Anthology, the Sub-Zero thing they did. It has traps like that where, like, you're watching the pattern, but then there's other ones, like, there's these hammer ones where, like, I died so many times with the fucking hammer, even though I was like, because here's the thing that makes me the most mad, right? If I hugged the wall and ran past, the hammer wouldn't hit me, and I was like, okay, this is how you have to get past him. And then the last one hits me, and then then like 3 times or whatever after that, the hammer just kept hitting me, and I'm like, can the game make up its mind? If I hug the wall and run past, does it not hit me? Or like, what the fuck do you mean? But there's a lot of traps like that in this entire fucking story mode. Like, it could be firewalls or like spike walls, spike floors, the crushing, like, there's always fucking something, and it's just fucking annoying to get through them, because some of them, the way that they're laid out, are just bullshit traps. Like, there's like spinning blade fans that move on like little conveyor belt things, and there's some of those where, like, even watching the patterns, you're like, how the fuck? And I'll tell you how the fuck. You just get really fucking lucky when you make your run for it, that it doesn't somehow decide that, nah, your legs got chopped off, retry again. That happened to me so many goddamn times trying to play this for footage, where I was just like, I'm just not going to include how many fucking times I died here, because Jesus Christ. Like, there was a time where, like, I literally got past the fucking blade fan, and then my legs chopped off, and it's like, no, you didn't make it. I'm like, but I was fucking past it. That doesn't even make sense that it still got me. Fuck you, game. And then after, like, the 4th time, it just randomly was like, no, you made it past this time. And I'm like, but I fucking made it past, like, 2 of these 4 fucking attempts. What the fuck? So that's something. There's a negative. It's just the hit mechanic for, like, the traps. Very, very touchy with when you can and can't get past things, and it's like, god damn it, y'all. But no, like, really, my other issue, getting into like actual fighting, because this is a fighting game, there's not really special moves. Like, everyone has 3 specials and a grab, which, like, you look at the newer games and everybody has so fucking many moves they can do. I feel like there's a balance to giving characters enough moves where it feels like they're unique, and not giving people enough where it's like, it doesn't matter like what you do, what character you pick, because they all have about the same. And that's where Armageddon falls for me, is everyone only having maybe 3 special moves apiece. They're not very unique, and I feel like that is because they had so many characters to program in this game that they made pretty much everyone fight the same. Like, all the big characters kind of fight the same. All the medium and small characters, like, they all follow a pattern of how they fight. And there's not enough in there that really makes everything enough unique. And you can argue with me and say I'm wrong, and that's fair. That's your own opinion, and hey, you're allowed to have your own opinion. I have mine making this whole thing here, and that's perfectly fine. Welcome to the world. How you doing? But playing through it myself, like, it very much like I was always, which is, to each their own. I was always a fan of Kintaro growing up as a kid. I just he was a big tiger forearm guy. And I was like, yeah, I like Goro, but I like him better. I don't know. I like tigers. And even as a kid, I was like, tiger, man, yeah. But I played around a bit as him and then switched to Goro and Shao Kahn and some of the other bigger guys. And I'm like, they're all the same. They have their own special moves, but fighting wise, they're basically all the same, and it doesn't matter who you pick. Everyone has their quote special moves, but for the most part, if they're the same size, there's really not much difference in what anybody's doing. And when you look at there's 62 fucking playable characters in this, there was more than likely a time crunch for them where they're like, all right, just fuck it. Program people. All right, this guy's medium. This is how they fight. This person's small. This is how they fight. Because that's how it kind of feels. And then that becomes a bit of a drag. But hey, to each their own. Again, to each their own. And if you like this game a lot, I don't hate this game. As I said before, I do actually genuinely enjoy this. It's why I re-got it for the PS2 now, is I enjoyed it then, and I still enjoy parts of it now. It's just playing more other Mortal Kombats and things, you can see the flaws in this one compared to the ones before it and the ones that came after. Another positive that I can say about this one is the maps have specialty things with them. Some of them are insta kills, other ones you transition top level to lower level, or there's one, I think it's Cyrex's ship or whatever. But you can punch someone into the fan and it knocks them around, fucks them up a little bit, and then spits them back out onto the main floor, which that's neat. That's something that we do see in the newer games where they've incorporated that again. Not to the same degree that this one did, I will definitely say that. But that's something that was in the older games where you punch someone off the bridge, they fall onto the spikes at the bottom, or the acid pit, things like that. And this one just kind of took that idea and made it a bit more unique, where there's one that's God, I can't even remember the name of the level, but there's just a giant fucking grinder there, and you can punch people onto the conveyor belt, and it's an instant kill, so it's an immediate win for you. Which, if you're fighting in the tower is something else I want to mention here, but you can just, if you get that level, just punch him onto there. Just uppercut him, whatever, get him on that conveyor belt, and give yourself an easy win. It's kind of a cheap way to do it, because if you're not careful, they will do that to you, and you'll be like, what the fuck? But the tower, let's talk about the tower too. So it's not, you don't pick a difficulty, it just starts you at, okay, they're basically a training AI. And then it's okay, they fight back a little bit until you get up to the top, and then it's all right, they're just on extremely hard difficulty now. Good luck finishing the tower. And it's the other games gave you difficulty. You could pick, do you want it easy, medium, hard, whatever. This one was just no, you start at a training bot for the AI fight, and then it just gets increasingly harder and harder until literally the top is alright, put it on the hardest level. Good luck. You've had no preparation for how hard this fight's gonna be, because everything before it was bullshit comparatively. So, which is interesting. You make the tower more difficult in that sense, but also there's not really a way to prepare yourself as you go up the tower for that, because again, the starting one is I think 0.25% and their difficulty, so it's literally a training AI where you can get a flawless victory it's nothing, and then it bumps up to 35, and then 45, and then 50, and then 60, then 70. And it just keeps going up until, again, you get to the top, and it's you're fighting the top level of the AI's fighting system, where, it's going to spam you with the same fucking move so many times. When I fought Rain in the story mode, when I had to fight Rain, it gave me a taste of remembering how cheap the fucking AI can truly be, because it just kept spamming the same fucking special move over and over and got me back to a wall, and would just kept going, all right, I'm gonna shoot you with this beam of water. Oh, you're stumbled. Shoot you with a beam of water. Oh, you're stumbled. And I was what the fuck? Fuck you, man. Am I battling a fucking 5-year-old? What is this shit? So another thing with this game, everyone has a weapon. every single character has a weapon and you can just equip the weapon. Does it really do anything? Not fucking really. I feel like at this point they were trying to stay in competition with Soul Calibur at this time. And Soul Calibur's whole thing is everyone has a weapon and that's how they fight. It feels like they were kind of trying to do that here, and you could switch if you wanted your weapon or not in battle. But for the most part, the weapon doesn't mean shit. Because, like, your special moves still just use your hands. Like, there's nothing... The weapons don't get special moves. They don't really do much more damage than just your fist. So, like, really, there's no point in picking out the weapon. The AI will always pick out a weapon because, I mean, granted, there are some moves where like swords can typically have some kind of slash that makes your character like hold their face and like, oh, and it gives it an opportunity of attack. But that's about it. Because other than that, they literally, it's not much difference. You might as well just beat the shit out of them with your special moves and your fighting. Because that's, which when I play story mode, 100% I'm cheap as shit to the AI, but that's because I fucking hate Tavin. That is something, the characters that they made up for this game and included, like Tavin, who you have to play as in the story mode, is like the shittiest fucking fighter in the game. It's like they just went, how can we make him like the worst possible fighting character that you're gonna play as for this entire campaign we're making? I know, we'll literally give him the dumbest fucking moves that I can't figure out how to fucking combo anything because everything he does just kind of ends. But then also his special moves are easily blockable. Like, fucking goddamn it. Because like his special moves obviously do more damage, but the fucking AI can just block it like I'm throwing a glass of water on them and just deflect me and then proceed to beat the shit out of me. Again, I'm not like a huge into fighting games. I dabble with them. I'm more RPGs, open worlds, or strategy games. That's more my, kit and caboodle, like Fallout or Baldur's Gate. And then I also, or like Thaumaturge and XCOM. Like, those are the kind of things I typically play, but I dabble in everything. I definitely can't say I don't play first-person shooters because I put so much fucking time into Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3 back in the day. Oh, God. But like fighting games I've always dabbled in. I think I've played almost every Mortal Kombat that has come out, except for the niche like side games. Like main games, I've played every single one, and I've owned most of them over my life. So like I do enjoy them. I don't super get into them. So I'm not the best, which is like any of the footage you see and you're like, wow, you're just kind of bad. Like, yeah, because it's not my top kind of game. I just dabble with them because I find them fun to just, play a fighting game here and there, but I don't super get into them. But even with that, Armageddon has so many things that were unique about it. As we cut over the fucking motor combat, the way the story mode was, the kreate-a-fighter. But at the end of the day, the core mechanics were so flawed with this game. Just very flawed, of like very limited in special moves. Character type really kind of determined how they played. Like if you're playing a big character, they were all the same. Smalls were all the same. Were there uniqueness to them, like certain kicks, punches? Yes, but for the most part, they all kind of fought the same. It says they have different moves, whatever, but like you can kind of tell they were following the same pattern per character build. And again, I think that's just because they had 62 fucking characters in this game. So like at some point, you're gonna hit that time crunch and be like, all right, we just gotta crank out. Does anyone give a fuck about that character? No, then just make him generic as fucking move on. So that's just my thing. And again, this is just my own personal opinion. You don't have to agree with all the personal opinion. But, it is what it is. Nostalgia can be a liar. Also, don't pay attention to these fucking posts that keep going around talking about something where you're like, I didn't think that was very... You're probably right. These posts are trying to say that the fucking Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds was underrated, and it's not. Fuck, we covered a quote, underrated monster movie for season 5 of Bad Taste that'll come out the end of May, where it's like on top 10 most underrated monster movie, and then me and Paul watched it, and I was like, yeah, no, this is like deservedly nobody talks about this because what the fuck was this? So don't pay attention to them. Like, go by your own instincts. And hell, with something like Armageddon, play it for yourself. Find a way to play it yourself and judge it for yourself. I don't absolutely hate this game. I like that there's as many characters as there are. I love the kreate-a-fighter. I wish they kept doing that. I really don't understand why that feature went away. Motor combat, I kind of understand why they wouldn't have done that again. It's a gimmick, but it's a fun gimmick. I will say that. Like, everyone has their own special move. That one's actually kind of fun to play with. But again, stay odd, stay happy. Well, I'll catch you on the next one when I do Crocodile 2. And,